let's come back here to the studio and introduce you my guest right now. Joining us is Dr. Caroline Wangeshi. She is the founder of Visionary Apostolic Awakening Network International. Dr. welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
And of course, also will be joined by none other than Honorable Catherine Omanyo, MP for Busia County, and Rahab Muya, the National Chairperson, Maendeleo ya Wanawake. Dr. given that you, of course, came here first, let me start with you. What can you tell us, given that you could just heard from the various stakeholders there carrying out a sensitization for the media? Yes. You know, breast cancer has been among the challenges facing women in this country. Yes. Where are we going wrong in addressing that particular issue?
First of all, I want to appreciate you for having me in studio today, and it's a great honor. Thank you very much. So you realize that these results too, they have been caused by the food, the kind of food that we are eating. You realize that the food that we have right now in the market has a lot of chemical induced in them, and also the way that women are eating their food, because breast cancer is not only for women. Even men are involved, they are infected by it. But you realize it's mostly because of the health, or the kind of food they're eating, and the atmosphere that they're exposed to. Yeah.
And of course, you see the media, the Ministry of Health carrying out that particular sensitization. What would you like, given that you're a leader in this particular country, what would you like the Ministry of Health to do so that they can curb such cases, especially in the country?
Yeah, basically what my thoughts and what I would like to suggest is that women, both women and men, should be informed, should be advised, and should be trained about how to monitor their bodies. And because when cancer is noticed early, it is quickly treatable. But you realize that the disease grows and becomes up to stage 3, becomes up to stage 4 when someone is dying, when it has eaten up the whole part of the body. That's when, and that time you realize it's very expensive to treat it. The radiotherapy, the chemotherapy, it is very expensive. So what I recommend is that people should be trained. How do you check your body? Yeah, and also what kind of foods should you avoid? What kind of foods should you eat? Yeah, like you realize nowadays even the farmers are mostly advised how to use the organic fertilizers more than moving far away from the CAN and all that kind of fertilizers. Yes.
And of course, Dr. thank you, of course, for enlightening us. That was the media sensitization that was being carried out here in the capital, where the Ministry of Health is leading that particular initiative in terms of addressing cancer among women, especially breast cancer. Addressing those particular issues ties into what we'll be discussing in the first hour in terms of the International Women's Day that is currently 4 days away. We're looking at some of the challenges, some of the milestones that have been made in the sector. You do know that this year is always celebrated on the March of 8th every year. It is a global celebration for socio-economic, cultural and political achievement of women across this country and across the globe. Of course, joining us once she's mic'd, that will be Honorable Catherine Omanyo, the MP of Busia County. Let me go back to Dr. Dr. Before we go to the challenges, what are some of the key milestones that women have made in this country?
Wow. First of all, I would like to commend every woman that is coming out. Yeah, you've realized that in the recent past, let's say like in the last 10 to 15 years, women have come out. And not only in the leadership, but in terms of the political arena, even in different various areas to do with the organizations. You see people, the women are coming out, they are believing in themselves, and they are taking up roles that before used to be considered as men-oriented kind of tasks. But right now you find that women are believing themselves, because being a woman does not show that you are less. Being a woman does not let you discover that you are less than a man. But above all, I'm very, very happy to see women coming out, women speaking out, and even making impact in the community.
And Dr. there's a living proof next to you. That is Mheshimiwa Catherine Omanyo, the MP of Busia County. Mheshimiwa, thank you for joining us this morning. Maybe just enlighten the young girls who want to become MPs. How did you get here as a woman?
I spoke about it to myself first. I prepared. I dared. Mostly, you know, when you are still at campus, joining some of these events and looking for who is who, and starting from your own village, it's important. There are people who want to be leaders, but even their village elders don't know them. So you have to know who is who in the society and start with who is available. If you target to want to see Baba, Raila, sometimes it can take longer. But so you start with maybe who is the chairman of ODM if you want to join politics in your area. Let them know you well. They start talking. And not just talking theory way, pragmatically, what are you doing for the party or that institution you want to join? You know, I would introduce myself as future president, make everybody stop and look, who's that? And some would laugh, some doubt. But I consistently kept on preaching my own gospel, my vision, my mission, my objective. Actual funeral attender at some point. Just going there to mourn with the families and also want to talk. Many times I would be denied. A few times I've grabbed mics to also talk, even if I said something. So many young people, I know they'll be judged, especially when they're single. Joining politics, you automatically become a prostitute, a headstrong, an abomination to some people, an embarrassment. All those things are just said to scare your vision away. And when you're single, again, people see you as somebody who's not reliable. They prefer a married, settled woman. More mature, not young. I actually plunged myself into politics at 25 years. I used to work with Orie Rogo Manduli, the late.
Yes.
And those days I would really look at her, how she talks, how she stands, how she just dares anyone. Sometimes with big English, you know, it scares away many people. Sometimes dressing, you know, she would pull the scarf and I would do it for her. Just to make a statement before you even talk. And many other people have dragged my feet along the way, because there are periods when you are on the valley and other places where you are on the mountain. When you are low, who is there with you? You know, there are people who can kill that dream completely, but others can say you've come along the way, all the scars you have, some unseen, some seen, and you want to give up, you know. So yes, to be young is good, but young doing what? To be a woman is even better, but how do you position yourself as well as a woman? Whenever I stand in front of people, even at that age, 25 years, I never stood as a young woman. I stood in front of people as a leader, not a woman. And that helped me so much not to remember all the time that I already have a baggage with me. Because we will go to school, yes, and we have gone to school, yes, but badly cultured people, men and women, still believe in men leadership. They do not believe in women leadership. Some of our tribes, unfortunately, how they describe a woman is so abusive and discriminative. Like they can say a woman cannot sit on me in my own language. It's very bad. Meaning those days kings, if they lacked a podium, a stage to stand tall, masculine men, young people would carry them up. So they're asking you in your skirt, you want us to carry you up, you know, that's what they are trying to say. So a woman cannot sit on me has various meanings. It means also you are intimidating the man in the house. It shouldn't be seen that way. Yeah, in fact, civilized men are taking it positive. Sometimes I see on comments how some men say things about me, so encouraging. But some still feel intimidated. Okay. Yes.
And of course, Dr. you've just listened to Mheshimiwa. She's raising pertinent questions. So is it a mindset or is it a cultural norm that we're used to women behind men?
Well, basically, it's more of a cultural, because usually men are portrayed to be the head and the woman below the head, like the neck. So you see, with what is happening lately, with the education, with the exposure, you can find that a woman is well exposed and she's able to handle certain pertinent issues in the community, and at that time she's able to fill in the gap that even the man who maybe is a leader at that time is not able to address such issues. And so right now it's more about what solution are you bringing. It's not about the gender. It's not about whether you are a woman or you are a man. But if you have the solution on the ground, the solution of the people, you are able to make people comfortable at a situation where they are not comfortable, then you are the leader that is required. Because when you choose, if it is a man and you position that man there, and that man is not able to bring in the solution or maybe the networks that are required to bring in a certain development in a community, it becomes challenging. So yes, it's been there that men should lead, that men should be on the forefront. And it is very okay, because we also see men that are embracing women and they are encouraging them, that push on, you can do this. Like I remember when we were being raised by my father, I was the firstborn and the 3 boys were after me. He raised me like a man. He used to tell me, you know, these boys are after, you have to show them the right way. If it is going to slash grass, all of us are with slashers to slash. So that you find that that man taught me that I can do even what my brothers are doing. Yeah. So the moment you push the woman, the girl child down there at the early stage, then you realize that that girl will always be, they are not able to blow up. They are not able to become what their spirit, because in the spirit world, because I'm an apostle, you realize that there is no gender. The spirit is a spirit. So whatever that is in the spirit of that body, which is a woman, should come out and be able to do what it is supposed to do in the atmosphere. Yes.
And of course, Moshimo, you clearly stated that, which is happening in many cultural places, especially here in our country. Why does a woman have to go to, let's say, the Council of Elders to ask for a seat? What needs to change? What is the silver bullet? Is education perhaps the solution here?
I've even seen some professors, doctors, engineers, people with good education background struggle with women leadership, because when they are back in their houses, it's like they're competing with this woman instead of being a complementary to the woman, which forces them to go and marry a lesser, you know, not every woman is okay, but maybe without achievements like the one they have in the house, so that their ego can be well massaged. It could be, culture plays a big role. Somebody like me who's run 3 times trying to become a member of parliament, single sub-county. I actually started in 2007. I wanted to be a member of parliament in the larger Nambale. Then they split it into 2 sub-counties. Now we have Matayos and Nambale constituency. Actually, Matayos is a split of Nambale. So I vied in Nambale once and also vied in Matayos twice, wanting to be a member of parliament, not woman rep. But the things that I gathered along the way as I campaigned, I realized that we still have to stretch more. As a nation, we are above 60 years since independence, but there are so many other gaps that we need to fill for people to finally settle in and say, this year we want a president who is a woman, governors, senators, all the way. 50-50 is possible. Many people struggle, and for a woman to actually get elected, they do 10 times things bigger, better. You have to always prove that you can. A man can easily wear a t-shirt or one jacket every day and still be in different rallies and no one notices. But when a woman is in red today like me, tomorrow red again, it's already a topic. She's recycling clothes. We just start from there. Somebody, and a journalist, wrote something one time and said, she seems to recycle this particular, the way you write sometimes I just say, wow, I didn't even realize that I had recycled the same dress same week. So there are things that women are judged from the day they step out to want to be elected. It is even worse for those who are nominated, because no one believes that it is what they have done for the party that has earned them to be nominated. They attach you to somebody you slept with to get it. And yet these women who are nominated, I have a good friend in parliament. They are so sharp, so smart. They think outside the box. It's like a woman who has reached that level is always on her feet, thinking, praying, everything. They just do something different. Because we are always pushed to prove that we can lead, instead of being seen as part of the solution to our nation. So when you look at Articles 10, 27, Article 26, even today I was reading, they are all geared towards gender balance, leadership. No more than 2/3 gender rule. That
we'll be
gender.
Coming to that.
Yeah, should be in, but it's still happening. It hurts me. It's still happening if you go to so many offices, including my own office, Parliament. We have not looked into the constitution.
But Mheshimiwa, somebody who's watching you will ask you, you're a member of parliament, there are other women leaders who are also in that particular parliament. What are you doing about that 2/3 gender rule?
The numbers matter. Anything in parliament, the numbers matter. We can say, yes, this has to pass, but how many are we? We have people who still derail, push back, pull down anything to do with women, even in parliament. And they don't hide it. Just last week, somebody told me I'm not well dressed. And I was very smart that day. There's a time you just wake up and something is so right about you, the spirit is up there. And then somebody just pulls your spirit down, So the 2/3 gender rule thing, it is the state responsibility to make sure, to ensure that it happens in every sphere of leadership, appointive or elected, any offices, county level to national. But if you come to national, both Senate and National Assembly, we need to top up. And then they will come up with the story of a baggage, that if they top up women, it is a baggage to the nation. A woman has never been a baggage anywhere in the world. Go to America, go to UK, come back to Africa. So it's just a Pandora box. We celebrate women, yes. Actually, whenever I see a woman has become a governor or anything like that, I know what they've been through. Because I've been through a lot as well. The 4th time I went in as a women rep, county MP, not single sub-county MP, which I always wanted. But I said even ventilation can give you some light. So I went through it into parliament where I always wanted. Then I realized where there's 2 Gs. Yes, we need to lobby, we need to seduce, articulate issues that take care of both men and women, so that men are not scared. Today we will be saying it is women to be topped up. Some years to come, it will be men who will be looking to be topped up. And that is what they don't see. Because we are also surging and we are coming. Our girls are in school. If they learn to drive a tractor, our girls are learning to drive tractors. There are pilots also who are women, engineers. We are coming in bits. But it will reach a time, I'm saying, this 2/3 gender rule, it will be now the men asking for top-up.
Okay. And Daktari, let me get your views on that as well. Given that we have been singing about the 2/3 gender rule, we have even had the former Chief Justice, that is David Maraga, also dissolving the current 12th Parliament for not implementing the 2/3 gender rule. We do have the 13th Parliament in place now. What do you think the legislators, as an outsider, what do you think those legislators, especially women, should do in Parliament to ensure this is passed?
First of all, I want to appreciate my friend for the effort she's made even to reach there. I like that what she said, that even the ventilation can give you light. I like that. And basically what I feel is that women in that level should come together. Because when you come in as one voice, then you are able to achieve much. But you realize, even when you when you watch the news, when you read what is happening, there is a lot of fights between the women already in the parliament. But when they join together in one voice and lobby, I believe there will be something. And so far there is a lot of, we have seen a lot of nominated women. We have seen a lot of nominated senators and all that, despite the name and shaming and all that. In Kikuyu, what we say is that a river, you can never stop a river from flowing. It will still flow. And I believe that in future and very near future that this rule shall be implemented. Yes.
And of course, if you're just joining us, we're discussing the women agenda ahead of the International Women's Day, which is set to be marked on March 8th. And of course, it is marked every year. It is addressing the celebration of socio-economic, cultural and political achievements of women across this country and across the globe. Share your thoughts on our various platforms at Abdiaziz Hashim 2 and at KBC Channel 1. We'll be sampling them and of course posing them to our guests who are currently with us. Let me remind you, we do have Dr. Caroline Wangeshi. She is the founder of Visionary Apostolic Awakening Network International. We do have Honorable Catherine Omanyo. She is the MP of Busia County. And joining us is Rahab Muya, the National Chairperson, Maendeleo ya Wanawake. Let me get the thoughts of Rahab. Rahab, thank you for joining us this morning and of course welcome to the show.
Sorry for coming late. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, yourself.
Yeah. That's fine, Chair. We're talking about here the women agenda, where you stand as a leader, and of course the National Chairperson of Maendeleo ya Wanawake. We've been witnessing various press briefings you have called for, especially for CJ Martha Koome, in solidarity with the Chief Justice. But what milestones, can you just, from the top of your head, what milestones have women made in this country?
Thank you for inviting me. I want to say that, yes, there's been quite a lot of milestone, and for me, the last 2 weeks we've been on Beijing Plus 30. And when we look at the 12 critical areas, and one was that one of empowerment of women politically, we must, I mean, here I'm seated with ladies, you know, members of parliament elected by their own right. We must say that quite a bit has been covered. There remains quite a lot to be done, but I think as we look at Beijing Plus 30, it is important to go back and say all of us are in this journey, men and women. We may have to now start looking at the journey, according to me, for both of us, so that nobody is left behind. And you know, I know we've really pushed the government. It has been on the forefront, and we can look back and say, yes, I mean, here they are. However, we also need to push the boy. Both of us, I mean, everybody now needs to move forward. And I think from us where we are, having been this journey over 70 years as an institution, it's a clear reflection now we have to push everybody together so that then we are partners and we are moving together and nobody's left behind. A lot has been covered. When you look at judiciary, they are the first we need to clap, because right from CJ to registrar to deputy CJ, we have a whole team, and other women, you know, Kinanjoki, all of them down there. There are areas, even parliament, I mean, just in 92, about 30 years ago, we only had 6 members of parliament, Charity Ngilo, you know, Mama Beth Mugo, Mother Karoa. Today we are about 100, you know, so it is quite, we've moved. But as I've always said, and on this platform, and I said it last year I was here, those numbers need to translate into what we always said: you educate a woman, you educate a village. Those numbers now must translate into what is happening in the villages. We must be able, Catherine here, tukifika Busia, we see, yes, wamama wako na kuku, wamama wako na manji, ile maendeleo inafanya. Let us look out for one another so that we are working together. Poverty is one of the issues in the 12 critical areas of concern of Beijing, and we must agree we have many of our sisters in that line, on the poverty line. So a lot needs to be done on poverty. You know, we'll run through the areas, but just on opening is to say quite a bit has been covered, and from the 12, about 8 of the areas have been covered, but a lot needs to be done. On the women front, yes, we have moved. Thank you.
And Chair, you've just clearly given an example of the judiciary. We have a woman in position as the CJ, the deputy CJ, the registrar. What will it take for it to be implemented even in the executive and the legislative arm of government?
It just takes lobbying. I think when I came in, Catherine was talking about lobbying. It just takes lobbying. Talking to our men, you know, I come from a bit old school compared to these girls here. And therefore, we have always believed that you talk to men with that, you know, lobbying. Let me call it lobbying. Privately. It doesn't have to be on TV always. But we need to lobby the men. They need to see. But once we get those positions, the positions should speak for themselves, so that as we lobby the men, they'll be saying, yes, in that village there's a woman MP. Do you know what is happening? The girls are going to school, have given birth. There's a nursery for girls who are orphaned children. There's a woman talking to the girls on Sunday when you know, just counseling them. So there must be an attraction so that then the men can come on board. Because men check for us what a woman achieves. A woman works 3 times to do what a man does once. So we must be able to prove our case, because this is the life we are in, and this is what the, you know, the life is about. So that when you get to that village, we are saying, yes, I was in Catherine's village, and you know what? The dispensary there, the medicines there, you know, there's a poultry farm, there women have drinking water, Maendeleo is in Sawa, we partner with them. So that then that need of you educate a woman, and I underscore this from Maendeleo, you educate a village, it can then be seen across all the villages in the 1450 wards of this nation.
And of course, Daktari, coming to you in terms of away from leadership a little bit, some of the major challenges that women have been facing, especially in the country, is the gruesome killings we have witnessed, femicide cases on the rise. We have seen even the gruesome numbers that we have been given by the National Police Service, even the executive arm of the government telling us how many women have lost their lives, even to the DCI arresting an individual who allegedly killed 42 women and dumped their bodies at the Quarry dump site. Why are we still witnessing these particular cases, in your view?
In my view, regarding the femicide, it's illegal. And that is crime. And women need to be encouraged to speak out. Because you find that in some communities, women believe that being beaten and going through all that situation, it is normal, it is okay. But it is important, and it's a high time to know that as a woman, you have to arise and speak. And we have to condemn femicide. We have to condemn domestic violence. We have to condemn anything that imposes pain on a woman. You see, like, you realize that you're told that if your husband has beaten you, you cannot report him. You cannot. But I believe, coming from the religious background, there's a time that even the apostle said that there are demons that you don't just bind. There are some demons that requires to be beaten. And so it is very important for women, when you see such kind of a situation happening, be it in your family, be it in your marriage, be it even in the workplace, it is important to speak out and report it. And in that way, you are able to, and I'm so happy to see even what the women rep for Nairobi is doing, fighting for this femicide. And many leaders are fighting, and they are going against it. Even our Wamushomba from Kiambu County, a lot of them are rising up, and they are encouraging women that you should speak out. You should, you know, do not allow yourself to be oppressed. Do not allow yourself to be exposed to danger, and you can run. Yeah, so that is illegal, that is a crime, and everybody that is doing that should be subjected to the law.
And of course, Mheshimiwa, with your platform, should you not push this to become a national disaster? Because you can hear the statistics. DCI coming out saying it is 90 women, another 42 women bodies are dumped in a quarry dump site. That is allegedly, of course, the investigations are still ongoing. Why are we not seeing our legislators coming up to ensure Parliament pushes this to ensure it is a national security?
I am utterly demolished to keep reading this. I was looking at it as somebody's sister, a mother. And on a broad spectrum, the frustrations that our society is facing, mental health that is not actually looked into, factors like lack of job, drug abuse, it's actually a major cause, because no normal human being, a man, can start listing women he wants to kill and talk about it. That's a mental case first. We need quick response units right at the police stations, posts, not even stations. Stations are bigger. In the village, remote areas, we have little police posts. And the nyumba kumis, to keep, vigilant, visiting especially all the women who live alone. We have neglected these people. I visited several in my county and found out that there are factors that can even cause somebody to easily come, rape and kill. A juza, a very old woman staying alone, no one crosses, no one passes there, there's no gate, no fence, just a lonely small house there. It's like she's just waiting to die. Gave up long time ago. That woman that I visited was actually raped. And I love the DCI in Busia. They moved very fast. As I'm talking now, the young man who's below 30 is in jail. But I'm saying that our system must change. You cannot give one policeman 400 people to take care of. He's human. These things are so slow. The bureaucratic corridor is too extensive, long, and it reaches a time the cases or files get lost. So the system needs to change to handle especially femicide differently. Because when you bangle a rapist, a murderer who went to do whatever they did and killed a woman, you bangle them with everybody else and then mention. It takes maybe a whole year or 2 or 3. By the time even anything is heard, the person who used to even come as a witness gave up, disappeared, changed numbers. It's lost along the way. So the system needs to be overhauled on how we handle this. 2, the way we raise our children. From, most parents are too busy nowadays. They see children later in a rush. They're tired, they go to sleep. So maybe these children are raised with a house girl or a houseboy or a relative who was defeated maybe to extend their education and they are passing time there. And because of their own problems, they really don't care what these children do. They don't care what these children watch. It could be a movie of somebody killing so many people and it's fun and he's a hero. And they think killing is also heroic. So the culture that our children are being raised in is not how we were raised in. We were raised asking, where is Moses? And who is Jacob's friend? Can they come? Can mommy also know your friends? If a neighbor is absent, I could see my mom taking care of our neighbor's children until the neighbor comes back. But nowadays, everybody is on their own, they don't care. So some of these things that we have left out that really worked, although we looked like extended families, looked like not civilized, things like those, there are things in extended families that worked. The culture. The aunties took care of younger, upcoming girls and talked to us how to take care of ourselves, how to, see men as men, being men. Our aunties would not mince anything. But there is a way, our mothers who are very busy, they're working, daddies very busy working, just thinking of how to pay bills, rent, and not thinking of how to raise these kids. So some children have turned into beasts in our homes. And they can even turn against their own mothers and sisters and rape and kill.
Yeah. And of course, Chair, your organization has been speaking about these issues of femicide and GBV cases that have come up since the start of January. And we do know there is a presidential task force that will be sitting to discuss these particular issues. What are key areas do you expect them to touch on? What can you recommend they should look into first?
Thank you. I think I concur with what my sisters have said. But just to say, there seems to be a problem somewhere. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago with the chair of the task force, Nancy Barasa, the former deputy CJ, and a few other women in government. But I want to go back and look at it as, what have we lost as a nation? We seem to have lost values. We seem to have lost respect. there seems to be very little love for the next person. We seem to have lost integrity. Care has gone down. And therefore, to me, and I was telling the chair, it is a time for a reflection, a conversation in the country, the churches, the government, the parents. This is not the teachers. I don't think where we are is going to be handled by one person. And I will be inviting all of us to be going to, Baraza is in KICC as the chair. And he told us it's a team with researchers and all that. But bottom line, yes, we will now condemn the parents very much. I'm a grandmother, so I've passed through the parenting, and you are a parent until you leave this world, whether you are 100 or you are 50. But just to say, there were always working mothers. Whether they were working in the garden, they were tilling the land, and they were tilling until evening, and we never saw something like this. And when we concentrated on these 12 areas of Beijing, femicide really was not one of them. It is something which has come up. There is this hatred in the nation. Politicians, these people, you may have to tame the language you use, because it's being used on the screen. I mean, think about when children are on holiday for 10 weeks. What are you entertaining them to every day, so that we then make a conscious decision? If we are going to change this nation, certain things, we are going to step back. So for me, it is the government, it is the church, and we thank the president for putting the task force, but we want the task force, they are 40-something, to listen to everybody, even those children we are saying have a mental illness. It is started from somewhere. We must also then also agree that, I think she spoke about the extended family. Yes, it was there and it worked. But do you know, we have very many single parents in this country. So you have a son and your mother. An uncle, ideally, would have been standing in to walk this boy as they grew when the father was not there. We are also getting very different behaviors from within the family. Instead of holding maybe your brother's children to what you'd have liked them to be, you become the destroyer within that family. So there are a lot of things for us to ask ourselves. Supposing I'm the one who was in the grave, and that brother, child you are torturing is the one who is alive. What would they do to your child? Supposing I am that auntie who is alive, and my sister's children are looking upon me, and all I can do is just make them maids. What would she do to my children if she's the one who was alive? So there is some love I feel we've lost as a nation, whether it is within the family, whether it is within the church, whether it is within the government, and we are telling one another very many things. I think we need to pause, because sometimes I say, if everybody in the region is watching us on TV every day, what do they think about us as Kenyans? Who is going to marry our cows? Because there's a time this region, I said from the old school East African days, East African Airways, and those times, Nairobi was the hub, you know. So who is going to be coming to get our cows here even for marriage? Because you'll be saying, msichana Mkenya, utachukua upeleke wapi? So let's be very, very careful in going forward. Tukumbali, because you can only change a mistake which you have accepted you have. If you do not accept you have a mistake, then you'll not change it. But there is nothing wrong with making a mistake, as long as then you say, okay, this one, we cannot go this way again. And I think all of us Kenyans do agree. It is not normal to kill a person, cut them in pieces, put in a bag, and even carry. That is not even mental. I don't know what it is myself. So is it a cult? Yes. Is it a cult we are dealing with? Even the Mzungu was found in Makueni. I mean, how do you do this? So I think it's a point to reflect, and all the security forces, all of us together, we are all human beings. Nobody would want to be their child to be handled like that, their relative to be handled like that, so that then we have some love for one another, some respect for one another. I must be able to worry about Catherine. When I hear something about Catherine, even if I don't see her, I can pass a message. Catherine, sorry, I had this and this happen to you. Where did this go? Because it used to be there. Uncles, aunties, grandparents, church, my sister, church. Church of God. Yeah.
And of course, coming to you now, given that the chair has talked about the church itself, in terms of ensuring, because the chair has raised a very, very pertinent question, in terms of the messaging on how we talk to people, chair is saying it used not to be there. How did it come about we reached this particular situation in the 21st century? Is it the digital world that we're currently experiencing? Are we that exposed to the Westerners, what is happening in their own country? So we're trying to also infuse it within our own country. So as a church, where did we start going wrong?
I think the world has become a global village. You realize that you are in Busia and you are exposed to things happening in Russia. Your children, very small children, can tell you what is happening in Dubai. You know, a lot of, there's a cross culture and there is no limit. There is no regulation. The information is flowing everywhere. And so in that way, there is a certain influence, and this influence is not only good influence, it is also bad influence. Like there was a time I was reading the internet, and can you imagine there was a child who committed suicide? A suicide that is well planned. Through, you know, you are taken through with a program in the I think YouTube. There was an app, you go through step by step until you kill yourself. And this program is in the US. So you realize that this aspect of being global village is really influencing, and also realize that the youth are not even going to churches nowadays. They will go to the phone, they will pray on phone with somebody in Nigeria or with somebody in wherever it is, because there is so much. But the regulation, even if, because I saw like yesterday the CS Kabogo was meeting with the TikTok team, and yes, we have to work out how these regulations are going to happen. There's an X. The other day I went into X. I'm seeing there's even pornography in X. So a lot of things are happening. A lot of information is being relayed everywhere without regulation. And in this way you find that people, our children, everything is changing. It's not like the way it used to be. All what you know is what you learn in church. All what you know is what you go for those women seminars. All what you know is what you go to those, men conferences. It's not like that. And therefore, there's this aspect of femicide. We have to train our boys. And I liked what she said, that as much as we are bringing the girls on the forefront, it is also very important to equip our boys on how to handle this empowered woman. Because you realize that boys have been left behind and girls are really moving forward very quickly, you know, very empowered. There is, you touch a girl like this, everybody is standing. And the boy, what is happening to the boy? Who is standing for the boy child? So you realize that you have this girl who is so empowered. And she asked a very important question: who will marry our girls? Because this girl has even gone to the US for training, has gone for conferences, has gone wherever, and this boy, all he knows is maybe farming in the land. Yeah? And so the moment this woman will come up with this kind of style, this boy, this young man cannot handle. So what will happen? Oh, this girl is proud. He will start doing what? Bring the advice from for the old men. Bring her, discipline her, bring her down. So then the moment, yes, you dehorn, cut the horns.
Okay.
You know?
Okay, I'll give you a chair.
And so in that way, you realize that this boy cannot handle this girl. So it is very important. And I've seen men are coming together. But we have to do more. The boys, there should be that balance. The balance of empowering the woman and empowering the boy child should come up. And in fact, a lot of emphasis should be put on the boy child at this rate, because we are getting, now you realize that girls are so empowered right now, they're even marrying other girls. They are turning to their fellow women because, you know, it is crazy. It is demonic. But what do we do? Elders, leaders, churches, people in the community, it starts in the community, it starts in the estate, it starts in the village. Because we cannot be talking about what is happening in State House, happening in another county, and you have not dealt it in your own house. So it's important for us to empower our own boys. It is important for us to tell the boys that that girl is empowered. She's not a threat for you. She's actually an advantage. Because at this rate of the economy, you need the woman to bring in something. Yeah? But if you just take a woman from, you know, then it will be the burden on the man, but you see how everything is rising. Yeah, so empowering a woman is good, even for the sake of sharing the finances, the responsibility and all that, but also the man has to be empowered to accept that empowered woman and not see that woman as a threat, and not see that woman like she's come to, like the way Moshima was saying, to sit on you. No, she's like, this woman, she's complimenting me. Maybe I'm not good in communication. I will do the behind work, but her, she can communicate. At the end of the day, everything comes to the same basket. But that is not what these men are saying. It's no longer that my money is my money and your money is our money. No, the things are crazy. The fees, the bills, the woman has to do something. But now, if we compress that woman, if we put her down, if we cover her, then we will overload the boy child with a lot of baggages, which that girl can assist and make life more comfortable and easy.
Chair, I'll give you an opportunity. Let me give Mheshimiwa as we come down for fairness. I don't want you to accuse me of being unfair. Chair, Mheshimiwa, we're talking about the issues, the clearly issues of culture. You've clearly talked about mental health issues, but are these not excuses? Why should people hide behind these particular veils of culture and mental illnesses and commit such heinous acts?
Somehow in the families or our societies, you will have people with various characters. Sometimes the character can be triggered when something happens. Then you now learn that this person has been like this after the action. Like you would see somebody who goes to church, very born again, and if you asked their pastor who they are, you will get very good accolades. But behind the curtain, that pastor has no clue what that person does. I'm married to a bishop myself, and we counsel people. You can easily see spiritually somebody who is not that one speaking. And because Antichrist is surging, coming by force to teach otherwise the society, it has become normal to be violent. Even our young people, they want to be the strong person who finished somebody or killed somebody or crushed somebody, even if they are racing with the car. You will see they're racing, somebody is trying to bump the other one to collide. A lot of digital ways that have come in have brought good and bad at the same time. In our cultures as Africans, there are things that are not just us. We are puppets acting like somebody else in our skin. Like she mentioned, we took care of each other. That is gone now. We wanted to know, why is Mama Nani's eye swollen? And as women, we would sit and talk and cry together, and that's it. But nowadays is do your own thing, like mind your own business. It's like you are poking your nose in the wrong trough if you try to find out and be of help. We have become so independent, yes, to the level that as a society, speaking up, sometimes it's seen like you're making noise. So a well-groomed girl is the one who shuts up. And you would hear some parables in our native languages that a fish with its mouth shut cannot be, can avoid a hook. You know, like a good girl keeps quiet, doesn't talk. So I'm saying there's so many factors, they might look like excuses that are giving birth to this homicide. Even drug addiction. It is real. Somebody kills, and when they are sober, they say, I didn't do it. But they did it. Then there is cult. There are people who say, if you kill a 9-month-old girl, you'll become a billionaire. So they are busy looking for little girls of that age to kill, so they become billionaires. Or some organs from a woman. If you bring, you'll become a billionaire. So the church somehow needs to step up. So many mushroomed other churches have soiled the real church, where we learnt a lot, got help. Most churches those days when I was younger were philanthropic. Now the churches, it's like we are building a mansion for the pastor, we are buying a 4x4 for the pastor, where all the energies of the church has turned. The church must look flamboyant. There are churches that could be under a tree, but they are raising funds to educate a girl or a boy who has made it to university. But there are other churches where when we raise even 10 million, it is for building the church. The church is the individuals in the church. We have turned it around. So the apostle here will be looking at me. I also preach.
Yes, I see.
The church is the individual. I was raised by the late Bishop Sulmeti of a Catholic church, but I'm born again. What he wanted is girls in the villages who have made it to university, and I was among them. So my fees was coming, and I didn't know who was bringing, how. They don't care, because they know I'm in the institution learning.
Okay.
How many churches today have gone to the streets and picked street boys and girls out and brought them to the church, built a boarding school, a hostel to raise these children from the street, because they have no mommy, no daddy to stay there. How many? Today people are detaching from responsibility, from the church to families to even the nation itself, because of the baggage everybody's seeing that it comes with.
Okay. Given that we're running out of time, Chair, now you can respond. We're running out of time. Your remarks on what Dr. said and Moshima.
I think, thank you. Let me say that now that we are on church, my wish and prayer would be, and we are on YouTube speaking about this for the last, I think, 6 years. I'm a traditional, born Anglican, baptized at 80 days, and married to a Catholic. So I understand two churches very well. And went to a Catholic school, boarding school. And I can confirm the work which has been done by those two churches in this country, and to an extension, the Catholic Church. Having said that, I know the pulpit, and therefore on Sunday, I've always gone to church, because the other pulpit from when I was young, when my parents took me to church, there will be a sermon which will be given, and that is what you take home from a church. Today, we never get to see the pulpit, we see the politicians. So I'll be asking for a separation, that we keep that pulpit, and I'm on record saying it, talking about, that can we hear the sermon of this Sunday, so that whoever never went to church have an opportunity to hear the message of that Sunday than just listening to a politician. Can we also separate? We have seen barriers, we have seen things in this country which you do not see in another country. And so we must ask ourselves in Kenya, we seem to have a lot of competition. What is it for? What is it about? How much do we need in our entire lives? How many meals can you take in a day? We must, for me, it's a reflection for us as Kenyans, me included. The government. The boy we are talking about, it saddens me, because a man is what has reached us here in this nation. And to be a man and a woman, of course, and to be able to be looking at a man like the other child who we must now support saddens me, because we have very many successful men and our children in this nation. And therefore, the government, for me, the children, I see you are in a hurry. We have said it as Mandelio to politicians. Can we get our children to training and give them skills? That would be my parting shot. Because I want to give you an example of a girl who is not working, a school dropout, and a boy. A girl will be able to go to Kenyatta Market and do some salon work and braid hair. The boy will go to industrial area and not get a job at the end of the day, and the girl will come home with some 300-400 shillings. So who is going to buy the food? I'm looking at the lesser boy now. Who is going to buy the food? It's going to be this girl. Parting shot is to say, family was not about money. It is the best institution. Family was about partnering together, and whoever brings what they bring, it is in silence, and its family is a unit of God. So it should never be you brought more money than I brought. brought. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. That is Rahab Muya, the National Chairperson of Maendeleo Wanawake. Next to the chair is Honorable Catherine Omanyo, the MP of Busia County. And finally, Dr. Caroline Wangeshi. She is the founder of Visionary Apostolic Awakening Network International. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. Of course, if you want to revisit this particular discussion, you can find it on our YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1. You can rewind it back and listen to the thought-provoking discussions that the various guests here have raised. In the second hour, it will be all about the state of the nation. We'll be discussing the 2025-2026 budget and the various proposals that are currently being made before the National Assembly. And then finally, I'll be winding it up on the 2027 succession politics. Don't go too far. We are taking a short commercial break.